But you could throw it in some formaldehyde or something. I think they still have who was that crazy Russian guy, Rasputin? I think they still have his dick in a jar at like the International Penis Museum, and I want to say it's in Iceland.
Yeah. Well, they still have Lenin. I don't know if it's at the Kremlin, but it's not. It can't be. No, somewhere.
Yeah,
they got him pickling.
Yeah, they still do, man. It's pretty. It's equal parts sadistic / equal parts miraculous that they've had him now. I think it's going on 100 years. I'm not sure exactly when he died, but and he's. I'm not saying he looks good. He looks as good as a person who's been dead for 100 years can look. If that makes sense.
Well, I would say he looks better than that because if you just left him outside for a while, it's gonna look a little different than that. But yeah, they give him like a some sort of like weird like acid dip like once a year, and then a bunch of like crazy Russian virgins come out with like Q-tips and spruce up the creasy bits, and then they put him back on display. It is gross though. That guy, I can't remember what disease he had, but his brain was so fucking like rotted. Apparently, like because they had to open his head up to see what was going on after he died, and his brain was so calcified that you could tap it with a pen and it would actually like ting 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 ting.
Jesus Christ!
It would make like a porcelain pinging sound.
He's legit hard headed. I wonder if that was like syphilis. I know that that's more decay rather than calcify.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but it was. Dude, this was like what the 1920s. I mean, they had no fucking idea like medical anomalies, so they just. I think because he was like an invalid for a while and finally just fucking kicked it.
At what point? I mean, Murr, I don't know if you're looking it up, or Alan. I'm gonna see if I can screen share this. But at what point do you think you give that up? You just say, all right, look, we've been doing this for 100 years now.
I think they said a couple years ago that they were still going to keep preserving him, but they weren't going to put him like on public display. Like you could still go see him, but they were going to put him in a more like enclosed room. But the thing is we're not Russian. And from the understanding that I have is they left him around to kind of like remind people of, you know, what a ruler could be if you really wanted it to be.
Gotcha.
That's pretty. I mean, and that one right in the middle there, that's in the black and white in the middle, down one. There you go. Like, yeah, that was like from like the 1950s or 60s before they had kind of perfected the acid bath.
Right.
But yeah, that main one you got going on the right is today.
Here, yes, yeah.
Apparently, this fucking place is like the who's who of pickling fucking dictators. Like, no bullshit. Like, apparently they fucking, besides Lenin, the lab in Moscow has also embalmed Vietnamese President Ho Chi Minh, Bulgarian leader Georgy Dimitrov, and North Korean leaders Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il.
Kim Jong-il got on the murderer's row of body pickling?
Oh, and Stalin.
It's okay. Well, I did not know Stalin has also been pickled. You got me saying
Yo, that's what they're doing. That's what they did.
But it doesn't shock me. I figured one Russian dictator after another.
Also, I will say that I think like the experiment's super done because the guy who did the autopsy didn't know that they were going to embalm him. I guess this decision hadn't been made, so he like snipped all the arteries.
Does that help?
Like, so they're not connected. No, he was like, it would have been better because then the embalming fluid would have got like in there deep, like into all the stuff. But he cut them, so you know, pickled.
Oh shucks,
lightly pickled.
I can't figure out. I'm look up Vladimir Lenin's stony brain.
Yeah.
Best can be described as a circulatory disturbance of the brain. No shit. Is that death? Is that
yeah, right?
Is that what they call it now? Christ. Well, it also wouldn't shock me that 100 years ago that's something that people suffered from. Maybe that's where the hard head thing came from. Hey, your brain's calcified. Watch.
Well, dude, Stalin was like on a bender, and I think he probably had a stroke. I don't know if they ever actually figured out what happened to him, but he basically like shit and pissed himself in the middle of the room, and his rule was like you never enter the room. So they were so scared of that motherfucker that they just let him like lay in his shit and piss for like 12 hours before they actually came in to be like, "Hey, Joe,
Well,
you want to get up?"
It's like a fucking like a Howard Hughes rebirth. Well, he did it before.
Yeah, because he was always so hungover that he was just like, "Don't fucking come in here after I've been drinking all night. Leave me alone." And so they just like, you ended up in a gulag if you did. So they just like, nah, I ain't going in there. You go in there.
Pissing bottles hungover. Sounds like a couple deadbeat fraternity brothers I have. I just don't feel like walking 14 feet down the hallway. Take a long piss. Sorry, this Gatorade bottle. That's it. If you read up on Capone, Capone had syphilis, and towards the tail end of his life, he was actually being kept here in Baltimore at I don't know if he was like a senior's home. So he got out of jail. Well, he didn't get out of jail. They released him because of his mental state, and basically said, yeah, this guy is a fucking vegetable. And they did some evaluations on him to try to figure out exactly. They knew what was going on, but they wanted to study it a little bit more. And I think at that point, Capone was so high profile that it made a little more sense. But they said at that point he had the brain capacity of someone who was like 9 or 10. You know, it was like playing checkers and couldn't figure out why he lost. Like, I'm Al Capone. I don't get it. That's a quote, by the way.
I really hope so.
Bada bing! Ah, fuck me! Oh God.
Just says old wise guy stuff. Fucking wanders off.
Can I get an ice cream?